welcome back to 709 Meridian, an audio commentary podcast. We are your hosts, Dee and Andrew.
Hello.
And here we are on the second leg of our Crisis season. We just saw several episodes that culminate in the Crisis on Infinite Earths Arrowverse version. Now we're going to cross over and do the recent animated DC Tomorrowverse version of Crisis on Infinite Earths. And just as a fair warning, they botched this too. So,
Oh,
and I was one of the main people saying, shit, if you do Crisis, it has to be animated. But instead of just having a limited series of maybe 12, 45-minute episodes, they do it in 3 movies, and they just, yeah. So if we thought the Arrowverse version was garbage, well, we got to go through this one now too.
and I have not seen any. It's been shit. What's the last? Killing Joke was the last DC animated I saw. So I haven't seen any of these. So I am going to, I watched it the other night to prep folks, and
Yeah.
we could discuss this the Flash movie that we're about to watch.
Right.
Sort of.
I mean, it's supposed to be under the Justice League banner, but it's the Flash's story because that's over the years what they turned Crisis into, because he was I guess, the one of the 2 major deaths, and then just about all the rest were just cleaning house.
Right. And even yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. So join us now as we jump into the animated Tomorrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earths, which kind of came a little premature because they didn't really build the Tomorrowverse, as we'll talk about it.
Which is very confusing if you don't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's fair, because Dee didn't watch all the fucking Arrowverse shows. So all right.
All right.
Here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1, play. I just like how they have no fanfare. It's just like, let's fucking get into it. We only got.
Yeah.
The Roger Corman level of credits here. So this is what I found very interesting when I was watching it is Matt Bomer, for some reason, is billed above the credit, or is above the title, sort of, or he's the only credited actor, which I found interesting.
I think that might be partially because I don't know if he carried over from the previous version.
Oh, okay.
Because that could be part of it. Because Flash is the one in this series of movies too that he's the one that crosses. There's a Justice Society movie.
Mm-hmm. They mentioned that in this, yeah.
Yeah. So in that movie, it's basically it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It does the Flash of 2 worlds plus, and it happens before an actual Justice League becomes a thing. So yeah.
So, funny thing, I didn't know this was supposed to be Barry Allen.
Really?
Come on, really? Now, there's actually going to be like a loop to this, but it's so poorly done, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Like, but okay, so we just meet Barry here. He's hungry. But the thing is, Barry's going to be going in and out of time this whole
Yeah.
movie, so you never know where he is.
Yeah, a lot of
So,
it
okay.
unfortunately doesn't get clearly explained. And that's one of the biggest mistakes of this crisis here in general is that you probably had to have watched at least two or three of the previous movies in the Tomorrowverse just to get the gist of what's happening. I say a lot of understanding what goes down. You could just watch the stingers and it makes a little more sense.
So now this is the first time Iris has shown up in the series, or was she in the other one too?
Yeah, she was in the JSA one where
Okay.
Flash ends up. I mean, yeah, I think she. Yeah, see, I can't even remember some of them.
So now, yeah, so he's basically this is really makes a lot of sense for accessible viewing, but he's going to be completely confused about when he is in time and interact with people like he knows what's going to happen in each event and they don't know, and the audience apparently isn't supposed to know either. It's a really cool way of doing just like what
Mm,
must have been one hell of a bulletin board. Okay, so this is Matt Bomer. Matt Bomer, so World War II. And yes, Iris is in that, played by the
hmm
same actor. Okay. What's amusing, of course, is Jay Garrick will be in this and not have any lines because this is a
Yeah,
very
this.
cheap movie. Um,
Yeah.
so we need to talk about the quality of the animation here.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, it looked really good. I'll stand by it. In the first movie of this series, the Man of Tomorrow,
Okay.
but then it's obvious with these the quality just kind of dipped hard. And
Well,
this is it
it's
versus Amazo.
yeah. So now what I don't get about this is that the well, now I do get it. So
Mm,
Dee explained that they never got around to doing the Justice League forming movie, and they also never got around to doing the Justice League versus the Crime Syndicate. So Earth 2 or whatever Earth it would be, but the bad guys. Squadron Supreme DC or whatever. Okay.
yeah,
Um, but that's what's going to be in this. This movie is Amazo and the formation of the Justice League, which is idiotic in this and very dated. It's like a story out of 1965, but with the future shit
yeah, with
going
the
on in the
more
background.
updated looking.
That is the laziest fucking Flash logo I've ever seen in my life, too. I think it just changed.
It looks like
Like,
an arrow.
um, but
Uh
yeah,
oh.
so here
Speaking of
comes,
arrows,
yeah, there he is. It won't slow him down at all, you idiots. Like, what are you doing? Ooh, the smoke grenade's gonna
oh,
Aeromobile. Just like the cheapness of the water. Like, this looks cheaper than a fucking late 80s cartoon. I assume a lot of it so it can be like computer done, right? Like, it's gotta be.
yeah. because crowd scenes are just copy
Piddly,
paste.
piddly crowd
See,
scenes.
now this here, this is the stinger for Batman: The Long Halloween.
You're kidding me. No, it's not. The Long
Yes,
Halloween
it
ends
is.
like this.
At the end of the credits, yeah, or before the credits, or yeah, this is the stinger.
Long Halloween was a Tomorrowverse one?
Yep.
Okay. I've been curious, but I haven't been able to motivate myself.
It's because I think they were gonna do it outside because
Mhm.
the Batman ones actually make money. Although, again, in the Green Lantern one, there is a Justice League already formed, but it's only all we see is Green Arrow, Vixen, and I think Hawkman or something.
Now, why? I thought they tried to make Vixen happen before the Tomorrowverse.
Yeah, she was supposed to happen in the Arrowverse.
Right. So, yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there, folks. But Arrowverse tried unsuccessfully to do exactly what James Gunn thinks is going to work, which is have live action actors voice their animated counterparts, and that'll drum up interest. Do we ever find out who this is?
Yeah. See,
Okay.
again, it makes more sense if you've seen the earlier movies
Okay.
because you see at the end of oh, this is pretty funny.
Yeah. But so wait, was the supporting cast in A Long Halloween dirt cheap too, or did they actually have good voice actors?
It's all the same voice, people.
Oh,
Like I think that was Jensen Ackles too.
yeah, because okay. So speaking of animated voice acting, interesting little. Have we ever talked about Moana on the podcast and how The Rock approached that as an acting role versus how he sees people phoning it in when they voice animated stuff? If you want to talk
God.
about phoning it in, this shit is the like.
Yeah, this is why some actors shouldn't do voice acting because this is just I'm standing in a booth reading a sheet of paper.
If they're not like sitting on their toilet doing it like Shatner,
Yeah,
or I mean, Viola Davis shoots her whole scenes in her
right in their bathroom.
but yeah, I mean, it's like they have no affect, they have no
No, there's no
like this one in particular will get there, but Iris is actually going to be super important. And the fact that they clearly didn't record together or anything, it's just kind of like this is why
yeah.
animation hasn't taken the like obvious leap and bound it should have taken in, I don't know, like 2010, right? Like we should be so far past this at this point.
Also, why we need to support voiceover artists more for animated films,
Right. It's
and
a
I mean somebody beyond Frank Welker.
like I don't want to listen to Jensen Ackles read me an audiobook. Why the fuck would I want to? I
Yeah,
mean, and I
why?
like the guy on The Boys, right?
Yeah, he's good on the boys and everything, but him as Batman is like some fanboy shit.
I mean, this whole thing feels like some fanboy shit, like really bad, but it's not because it's bad in a boring way. Is like the real problem with it is that it's just. I also find it weird when we get Wally West, Barry Allen, which is basically like the Peter Parker of the DC universe thing that they have been doing for a while. Like it wasn't just
They
Grant
never get it right.
Gustin and Ezra Miller, but I'm not used to seeing him as the blonde hunk doing it, like the Infantino blonde hunk. So it's
Mm.
very weird how bad the comic is.
See, one of the early Justice League movies, they botched it where they brought Rosenbaum back to do Flash, but he played Barry's voice, and it was like, traditionally he's Wally, so he's just, they fucked it up. I forget which one it was. I think it was, I want to say it was Justice League Doom, which
I
is
feel
actually a good one.
that's kind of the thing with these is I feel like the DC animated universe was the most obvious thing not to fuck up, and yet they did. Like for 12 years. It was
Yeah, they
because they
should
were
have.
never willing to go over 90 minutes and they were
They
never willing to throw enough money at it.
they should have kept a steady stream of annual like Tim verse
Yep.
from the originals. They
Well,
should have just always done annual ones.
they should have done something like that to tie, like an Avengers movie every 3 years or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, like
yeah,
that. Because you know what? It's a fucking cartoon. It's easier to do than those things. And you can record the entire fucking thing and then have it happen later. But
yeah.
because I just always think back on New Frontier and how they really that could have been a crossover for this type of thing. Because
Hmm.
it was weird enough that it could have garnered outside interest, right? Besides maybe Entertainment Weekly doing it because it was Warner Brothers. But instead, they did a fucking 90-minute bullshit adaptation of it on the cheap. And it's just like, they didn't even spend money on Batman Year One. Like, they don't spend money on any of these. It's like, so, somewhat infamously, folks, the Planet of the Apes movies, the original series, each one made was made for less money, and each one made more money. But
Hmm.
Fox has had it in their DNA for so long, probably until Disney bought them, that sci-fi sucks, and you should resent having to do it. So they kept
Hmm.
spending less and less no matter how popular they got. Like the third one was just a blockbuster fucking out the door. And it was dirt cheap. And then they did them even more dirt cheap. This is the most boring thing in the world. Also, it looks like they're going to assault her. But they don't even have the chick from Arrowverse doing Vixen. Like, what is the fucking point of any of this? And this poor Martian Manhunter, oh my god.
Yeah. I always wondered if they ever did a story about John Jones choosing to be a black dude while Ms. Martian blatantly comes down and just takes the form of a white woman, and
They
they're
actually
supposed to be related.
they do it on Arrow or on Supergirl.
They should have did it
It's
on Young Justice. They explain why she takes the form she takes, but it
I'm 99% sure on Supergirl, at least it's a black chick. It might be the mom from Black Lightning.
uh,
I don't remember who it is, but they don't do that. They do a different bit. Like, because, okay, so you had said earlier that Green Lantern was part of the JLA, but not this one.
no. And Hal's story gets told in the the Green Lantern movie. You find out what happens to him in there.
So now we are only 17 minutes into this, and we have had no um we don't know the rules to what's sending him through time or how he's experiencing it or how we're supposed to be reading it.
Mm-hmm.
But um now pay a lot of attention because this is incredibly God damn, that animation's bad. I mean, the people on the street are actually like 20 times better than the Flash too, which is terrifying.
Yeah, I don't like the design they're using for the
No.
Flash. They could have came better with the costume. I don't like the chin strap at all.
No, and there's going to be a point in this where the chin strap's going to have a separate shadow, which is really fucked up. Hopefully, I can catch
Mm.
it again. That is the most people will see in this movie. Um, okay, the other thing is we don't know about the multiverse yet. Is something else that's going to be here that will determine that later. That these heroes are finding out of the multiverse for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there a stop sign on the wall? Just a question. Um, Oh, I thought I actually, when I was watching this the first time, I actually thought he was going to say, "We look down on stereotyped references like you know."
Speedy Gonzalez.
But it's just like they could have done a bank robbery scene. This movie has absolutely no setup for any of these scenes, which is if they will get to it, if they actually had tied all of this together with what it ends up being, that would have actually they could have made it work, which is another frustrating thing about this. But they do not. And so instead we get dropped into all these things. And the first time I watched it, I'm just like, is this a Flash thing? Because when you do a crisis thing like this, you could drop somebody into something like Trouble with Tribbles DS9 type thing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Back to the Future 2 it.
Yeah,
And so I
where
thought
they
this
end up
was
in the middle of something else.
yeah, I thought this was a Back to the Future 2 and of it both times.
And they have had a Crime Syndicate movie. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, they have I think it was a Dunham one. That's the other thing
yeah, it was
about
just a yeah, it was a one shot. It was Crisis on Earth 2 or Crisis on Two Earths or something.
Oh, it's the headquarters. Let's see it. Hold on. What does it look like?
Hey,
Oh, hey, I thought that was a Star Labs thing.
they never do the other Hall of Justice. The one from the later Super Friends episodes.
I don't remember the second one. I don't
Yeah, the
shit.
second one. Hmm.
I was just gonna say I don't remember the real first one. I just remember everybody doing an homage to it.
Yeah, the second one was kind of a dome, and it had like a pentagon shape around it. It was kind of, but they always do it based on the original one. Uh,
Okay, so this is also incredibly strange because Matt Bomer does Negative Man on Doom Patrol. And for the most part, that is an entire voice performance.
hmm.
He acts in that. We'll have to check. I'm not sure they actually have voice cast directing in this one. Okay, so some of this Superman shit, some of those shots where it's like the Superman action against the background, I'm like, okay, if this wasn't cheap, I could get into this, like this fucking sort of um but I mean, the problem is it's like, okay, if you're in a universe that has a metropolis that looks like this, other things are going to be futuristic that are not. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we got to see who voices Amazo. The most famous person in the cast that I noticed is Lou Diamond Phillips as Aloe Man. Owl Man. What is Aloe? Aloe. Aloe Man. Owl Man.
Uh, damn.
Yes, he did. I mean, he was going to kill those cops. Like, I mean, but still, he was endangering people's lives. It's like the fucking Avengers. Holy shit, I finally found somebody who's a worse director than Joss Whedon.
Oh,
Well, it's just sad because you're like, man, I thought fucking Arrowverse Crisis was cheap as fuck with like 12 people in a fight scene. This one's
yeah.
like, we're just drawing. We can't do more than six. Like,
Hmm.
oh no, wait, we got three down. So
And
Superman's
so
belt
far,
buckle changes a bunch.
it's not even it's not even so much following actual crisis at all. You
No,
know.
and it at this point, this is when I'm like, oh, so they just tacked Crisis onto a Flash movie. But no, they tacked Flash onto a Justice League and fucking Earth Crime Syndicate movies or something.
It feels like they had a lot of ideas and they sort of merged them into one
Hmm.
and called it Crisis.
When we get there, folks, I'm not kidding. It is actually kind of cool what they end up doing. They spend 43 seconds acknowledging what they're doing, but other than that, okay, so is this where we find out that Batman's like a fucking dummy and Lex Luthor's like, are you a dummy? You're a dummy. I thought you were supposed to be smart. You don't even sound smart, dude. Also, why does Batman look so much older, like Bruce Wayne? He looks older than everybody else, except Green Arrow. Green Arrow looks like he's fucking Green Arrow of Dark Knight Returns.
Uh-oh.
Yep, we're back into the Speed Force, straight out of a fucking Sega Genesis commercial from 1993, and James Gunn's favorite superhero movie until his Superman, The Flash. Oh, look, I'm at the edge of the fucking universe.
A bunch of
And
Earths.
now that's over. And I was like, that's a weird look. Oh, yeah, look at his chin. Check it out. This is it. This is the scene. That is Aldous Hodge. He likes this shit so much he will do this. Like,
Well, he's John Stewart too.
Yeah,
Or
but I
yeah,
mean, he was also Hawkman.
his
Like,
wasn't that bad.
he had a whole
Or
movie.
yeah,
Okay.
his Green Lantern movie,
Oh,
which
so they actually tried. They were gonna
they did
do.
try.
Okay, they
Yeah,
were gonna do the formula. Okay.
they were supposed to. Yeah, they're supposed to branch out, but
Okay.
I don't think we. Uh, this was all rushed because of the regime change. The whole,
Look at that
James
chin.
Gunn takeover. So that's another reason why the quality to this is ass. 'Cause they were just trying to get it done.
Okay, but we've seen the preview for Creature Commandos, and while it doesn't look as cheap as this, it still looks like ass. Like,
Yeah,
it's still not like they're spending money on these. They're still not willing to do that, even with this fucking.
because they're getting cheap house
Look at
animators.
that chin. Look at that chin. What is going on there? Nobody would do that intentionally. But I mean, is this some sort of flashy animation, right? Like,
Oh,
how much of this is computer aided is kind of what I'm wondering. Oh,
uh,
what the fuck is this again? Oh, it's the old man.
hmm. Okay, so we have another character that's doubling for God, um, Pariah in this, and he's also the other character who prompted Barry Allen to jumpstart the universe at the end of the last animated universe.
Like, I can't tell. Do they think that this art is supposed to look like Javier Polito or something? Because didn't he do a flash run? Didn't they have a different guy? Maybe it was Francis Marpool or something. He had sort of a very distinct,
Hey, look, Wally.
um, yeah, Wally with no lines. Let's not break the bank. Um, there was maybe the new 52 Flash had like a very distinct visual style. Like they were trying to, acknowledge Infantino after years of pretending the Flash was drawn by guys like Perez in the regular series.
Mm.
But that's what that costume reminds me of. But that could also be laziness on the animator's parts. This is Lois. It's not bad luck, Iris, I promise.
I mean, they try to get us so invested in their romance, but it's just the story is
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
Okay. So we're not. He's talking about something that hasn't happened yet, which is him coming back from Crime Syndicate Earth.
Hmm.
Just wait a little bit, and we shall see how he comes back from Crime Syndicate Earth. It makes very little sense how he would then be in this situation. So this is back to the Justice League origin movie. We are now rescuing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have been better if it play better sequentially, but it seriously feels like maybe they were going to have both of those things together, like Amazo and Crime Syndicate in the origin, and maybe like Flash was going to tie it together, but it like may and then the wedding would have happened at the end or something.
Mm.
Oh my God, the shit with the wedding makes even less sense. Yeah. So he's got the Jack disease, like Robin Williams has.
Look at Lex.
They get nobody to voice Lex. Well, okay, so the other thing is that the second two of these movies do feature significant or at least more frequent cameos from other animated universes. Is that correct? Or is that just the
Yeah.
third one?
Yeah, they little by. I mean, it falls off the rails once they start focusing too much on Batman, who had little to nothing to do with the original Crisis.
Okay, and here we have the fucking Spider-Man lizard meme where it's like, I have all this science, what am I gonna do? And it's like, are you gonna cure world hunger? No, I'm gonna make myself into a lizard. Um, but what's interesting is once we actually do get to the crisis part of this movie, which has not happened yet anywhere near, and we are 35 minutes into a 92-minute movie.
Mm.
Um, it brings up something from the comics that the Arrowverse thing didn't adapt and maybe should have, given how that worked. But
Why? Why does the Flash costume need a buckle like that? It
this was
looks
actually pretty
terrible.
funny. This was actually pretty funny. See, what this actually plays like is they were going to do this movie, this and, you know, Earth 3 and Amazo. They were going to do those two, and it would be a prologue to Crisis, but maybe like not right away.
Yeah. Well, they did that bullshit War World,
This is
which,
funny.
yeah,
So Warworld is God Mongol? Is they still call him Mongol or whatever?
I don't even know if he was in that. I think he was, but it was like a weird where they took Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman and put them in different scenarios or something that involved different supporting cast members. It's a really weird movie,
That's the problem with these is they just
and it
never
was a
it's
waste.
okay, so we're also going to get some of the animated movie, the traditional ish animation mixed with some CGI, big time CGI in a bit, and it is shitty.
Yeah.
But also a really good example of why are you fucking this up? Like, also, gotta say, come up with something better than Iron Man for Lex's
Hmm.
play. Have a LexCorp logo on it. The scale is just garbage too, right? Like Lex is in this giant battle suit, but the composition
Yeah.
makes it look like Green
It
Arrow's
looks like it's
teeny.
just.
Like these DC again, just oh here it is. This is the scene where what? Okay, and then I love how sometimes Lex's robot is going to be CGI for a couple shots, or far more CGI, um, like rendered or shaded than in
Uh,
other parts. It just makes no sense why they would do this so badly. I mean, other than this is what they did, like this was their job. This is what they had to do. What's going to be funny though is because I mean there are TV shows, there are live action, there are plenty of examples of live action things that feel contractually obligated.
mm.
It'll be very interesting to see if Superman, the James Gunn movie, has that vibe to it. Just a mix of desperation and because this doesn't even feel desperate. That's the thing.
Mm.
It doesn't feel because they know they're not doing anything after this. Like, it doesn't feel like they're going out with a bang. Maybe it'll change for the next ones, but just the direction in this one.
This just.
Give me more superhero action. Like, this is fucking. I don't want care about Lex. Like, cheap ass fucking like staticky shots and like the fake cloud or the cloud animation wallpaper going on. Shit, it's just like there. For some reason, we're getting a lot of fucking shading there, and then it's over. Like, okay, we're almost to the end of part one here. Is Superman such a, I mean, liability in the other Tomorrowverse movies? Like,
I think he only had the one, and then
but
he,
like,
special guest star. Well, no, actually, he's Earth 2 Superman is in the JSA one.
okay.
And then, yeah, he appears in this one, appears in that one too. Like, he kind of bookends it with the Flash. And what else was he in? He had an appearance in the Legion one.
But he's very like ineffectual. It's very strange.
Right. And that's the problem. See, the idea was that you could tell from the first movie that this Tomorrowverse was gonna kind of hinge on Superman and Flash kind of being the heart and soul of the Tomorrowverse, and none of that happened.
You can do whatever you want in animation, man. You can do whatever you want. There's no budget. The limit is your imagination, man. What a terrifying thought. Like,
Mm. 12 episodes, just a limited series.
just done well. What if they just did it well? They
Yeah,
have the full voice cast recording from that audiobook thing. Fucking use all their voices. Just adapt that.
yeah.
Whatever. That's the thing is, they tried doing those done in ones, right? Those no continuity things like Dark Knight
Hmm.
Returns, things like that. And then they lost their fucking
Yeah, once they tried to expand it into a universe of
yeah.
connected, well, I blame the Batman movies for that because that's where it's fucking started.
Well, yeah, but that was because they did 7 Batman movies in a row with no continuity.
Right.
What they should have done is they should have just had a couple different animated styles, like 3 or 4. Each one of those has a different voice actor for the thing, and then you just do it like that. So you have the problem is they fucked it up. What they should have done is they should have had Peter Weller do year 1, right? Like they should have done shit like that, continuity through. Then they do that. They do continuity through the voice actor, but they didn't do it with those types of things. Okay, we are never going to get any more lines from Lex, I don't think, and he's just going to sit there static because that's how it works when you use shit. Who made Flash animation? Was it Adobe? Adobe Flash? That sounds
Yeah,
right. So yeah, in
Adobe.
Adobe Animator, when you don't touch the layer, it just doesn't move. So that's what's happening to with so many things right now. Actually, I'm sure. Like, just look at the contrast on some of this stuff. It's just like you would never do that. Like, if any, it's like nobody fucking watched this and thought maybe we should do something else. Or even with like the shot, even with like something they could fix in the shot. But I assume, yeah, they just got it from Korea and they printed it as soon as it came through. That's an exciting scene. And look at how few people have to come to fix it up because it's a shitty warehouse anyway. Ilax, and you thought John Cryer was disappointing. Star Labs vehicle out of fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and shit. Like,
They've
but it,
never made Vixen a charter member. She was never the resident female.
no, they were. I mean, when did they start doing that? It was because of Arrowverse. They really thought so. All right, Arrowverse had 2 animated spin-offs, as far as I know. I think they did some cartoon episodes, maybe like short animated ones.
Mm.
Maybe, but they had 2 things they tried. They tried the Ray and they tried Vixen. And Vixen was super confusing because the Vixen in the cartoon was not the regular Vixen on
The
Era
show.
or on
Uh,
Legends, because Legends was her sister from an alternate universe where she did the thing. Okay, we should be paying attention to this. Why is the bird not in flight really, or is what's going on with time here? And here they are a little bit older. Okay, so we are halfway through, which makes a lot of sense with my theorizing. And this is actually where the movie starts. Welcome to Crisis. on Infinite Earths Part 1, The Flash and Iris. Okay, that's some great animation. Look directly into the camera. Um, look directly into the camera, Iris. You're doing a commercial. But okay, so the animated movies. Yeah, so Vixen was all confused. So, but they cast the voice act. They cast the actor who played Vixen on in live action as the voice actor.
Hmm.
And that didn't do anything. Vixen didn't do anything. And they'd already tried the Ray before that, and that was going to be Crisis on Earth X, the big crossover with the Nazis. They were going to do a whole like retro Earth. It was Freedom Fighters the Ray, and the idea was they would keep doing more animated ones, and it went nowhere.
Hmm.
So they did try. This Creature Commandos formula has been tried before with DC, and it's completely and utterly failed twice. And so now we're going to do it a third time. But then introducing Vixen, because I think Vixen's in Harley Quinn in the Justice League, and it's
Hmm.
just kind of like because did they get rid of John Stewart? Because they got rid of John Stewart, right?
Hmm.
In Justice League, isn't it Hal in the comics now, or no?
I don't know.
Because I'm just thinking
The current lineup, because they just
Vixen
started.
checks two boxes, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Black Lady Vixen checks two boxes.
Which is why Warner should have got on it. Like I know they couldn't have made it. I mean, Vixen easily could have been DC's answer to Black Panther.
Zoe Salanda was busy. Oh God, can you imagine?
Ugh, not
No, not
her.
her. Not her, but can you imagine if they'd actually done it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that. Oh,
Jesus, I'm sorry. Hold on. 2019. Okay. You always tell me she can't act, and I'm not going to argue with it. But Beyonce Vixen
oh God.
with a full media thing. It's like Prince was Batman. Okay? Obviously, Jay-Z would have a huge part in the movie that would be terrible. But you're right, they could have done it. They could have done that. And it probably would have been
No, she'd have to be. Vixen is. You're not gonna get Beyonce to move around like that.
okay, fine. She
She,
just does the
they'd
concept
have to.
album. Okay, she just
Yeah,
does the
they'd have
concept
to
album.
do the whole thing with her where
Okay,
she
hold on.
works out. She would
Or
have to work out.
it's Janelle Monáe, and
Now that would be nice.
that would
Yeah.
be, I mean, and then, oh God, with the futurism shit, oh my God, that actually would have been great. Okay, this is the Harbinger design. That's something. She looks like something out of a fucking cheap Transformers knockoff.
Hey, keep a close eye on all these frozen standing heroes because this will be their standing positions every time you see them.
Okay, yeah. So Ray is here for some reason. We've got a Starman. We've got
Creeper, there's Black Lightning,
we've got
Obsidian,
a yeah, but then we've also got do I want to watch the
Tempest.
Legion movie? The
I
Challenge of the
watched it.
Unknown, I think.
I saw it 1.5 times, and
Okay.
I
Only one.
still tap out because of what
Okay.
they do to. Yeah,
Wait, is there no Wonder Woman in Tomorrowverse? There is. Why isn't she in this? I'm
um,
confused.
I
Did she
think
go?
it's mostly because they're only going to deal with one particular Wonder Woman.
Okay.
See, here we go with the bat stuff, and
What is fucking hilarious about this is I you're gonna have to check me as we go because I didn't realize this was the same Batman as the Batman who's in the rest of the fucking movie, right? Like this Batman here is the one we just met a second ago, right? Like, and put together the
Mm,
Justice League, and he just got here, except he's totally different. And he's going to get even more different. So, are these the Earth 2 Wonder Woman and Superman?
right.
Okay, so this is. I was confused. I thought this was supposed to be New 52 Superman. I like how Tomorrowverse Superman's looking at him like he just watched his parents kissing too much or something. Like he's such a milksop. Firestorm, Batgirl,
Speedy.
Suit Guy. Will this matter in the next one?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, this is your fan service. This is,
Why
hey,
does
there's that guy,
why
Red
does
Star,
why
Uncle
does
Sam.
Ted look so old? Why does Ted Cord Blue Beetle look so old? He shouldn't look that old. Is he from
I
Earth 2?
think it's because he's supposed to be, before acquisition Ted Cord. You know what I mean?
Katana Wildcat? Yeah. Who's this? Oh, it's Dr. Light. It doesn't matter. Um Dawn or Dove of Hawk and Dove. But what's really amazing about how fucking lazy they are is the characters that we're supposed to be noticing in the background don't maintain position between all the shots. So
No, because there's just one drawing that they keep moving around.
like that fucking hawk right there, yeah.
Wildcat,
Dude, all anybody wants from fucking
Doctor
DC
Midnight. Hmm.
is yeah, Dr. Midnight, Earth 2. Was he in anyway? All anybody wants is for them to fucking do something like this with a little bit of fucking money and the characters in continuity with the same actors. That's an outfit on Star Sapphire for 2024. Um, Metal Men are over there. Gorilla Grodd. Oh no, he's gonna get the symbiote uniform. Nobody ever talking.
Right.
Like a bunch of psychopaths. They're just, it's like Michael Myers.
See, look, it's just static.
So bad. Okay, so this is fucking idiotic. How are you supposed to know who Harbinger is? She doesn't even look like Harbinger from the fucking comics.
No, she looks more like Firehawk. Oh, but look,
But like a weird late 80s robotic Firehawk.
yeah.
Actually, her face looks like the thing from Tron. Okay, so at some point, Supergirl did Supergirl become Harbinger at the end of Legion of Superheroes?
Ah,
You don't.
her story gets told, I think, in the second movie.
Oh, there is not Kazar, the wild boy from the beginning of time. One of them. DCS.
Kamandi.
Yeah.
No, Kazar. No, Kazar
No,
is the.
that was a blonde one
Kamandi
back
is the
then.
last boy.
Yeah.
Our man.
Hmm. I'm just gonna say 58 minutes into the movie is a really long time in to dump all this shit on me. I believe
Yeah,
you're supposed to dump this on me in the first 15.
it should have been midway into
There's
the,
Jay Garrick, no lines. Jay Garrick's here, but he's got no lines. Green Arrow's looking at Barry like he knows what's going on. Now if somebody was paying attention, should be paying attention. Barry was just doing the dishes at regular speed. I wonder why. Dun dun dun. Because it would be a fucking decent thing. Jesus, they should do this with Grant Gustin. I would watch this movie with Grant Gustin and fucking Candace Patton.
oh,
They could
old Flash.
charge me old flat. They could charge me 14.95 to rent it on Max for this movie with the two of them getting to do something cool for the end of it. Because this is actually the thing, and this sort of became obvious in the Watchmen TV show,
Hmm.
is that they're just creating so much of this DC content and none of it's connected. So that's what's different from it and Marvel, right? Like Marvel, they're creating all this content, and either it's, well, minus Sony, right? But like none of it like clashes too much. DC
Hmm.
always either it doesn't fit or it clashes, but they've started making so much of it that it fits, right? Like Watchmen, the movie doesn't end with the alien, fake alien thing. Watchmen, the TV show has a flashback to that, right? So there's
Hmm.
just so much of this content. And am I just ranting again about how they need to do this with the regular? No, it's the Flash movie. No, but what you could do is you end all of it with them building the towers. And then you can do it whenever you want to do it. And then you can just have it in the can and you just make the towers the like visual indicator of a crisis thing coming.
Hmm.
And you could just when it, you get the Titans back together for one. You get the fucking whoever back together. You get um well, I mean you get Matt Ryan and Swamp Thing into a fucking movie to do it. Fucking you do DC Universe Presents with all of those old people and you build to a crisis. I think this a Watchmen reference or no? The dog.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Uh,
Like Aldous Hodge should be James Bond, right? Like, what is he doing? What is he doing?
oh, damn.
Yep.
I forgot to see which Superwoman this is. Because sometimes it's Lois, and then sometimes it's Evil Diana.
It's voiced by the chick who does Diana, I think. We'll have to see.
Oh. Recently, they changed it so that it's Donna Troy.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know who else it should be? It should be Stephanie Brown. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. Here we have the CGI integrated with the supposedly traditional animation, and it just looks like shit. Not sure why his self-destruct code is the Chicago area code, but I found that interesting. But
right.
here we have this fucking CGI wall, and it's just crap. It's just like, do something else. Do something better. Just try. But of course, so many problems. They couldn't try. They had to do. It's like the Fantastic Four. Are we doing the Fantastic Fours next? We might be doing the Fantastic Fours next.
There's
I
enough
might
of them.
make you watch. Yes, there are. There are four of them.
That's what I said. There's enough of
Oh, okay, you did. I thought. Sorry. Sorry. I'm too busy paying attention to the dialogue. Okay, so here's what I think. I think that's the end of the other movie. I think Flash escapes, goes home, marries Iris. Maybe he's slipping in and out of time for the movie, but then the tag is for this. And because that is totally unconnected to any of the crisis shit. It could have just been a strange phenomenon. The story, the tragedy of Earth 2 and Barry's wedding. Why the fuck is the Question getting such a spotlight here? Was he in the JSA one?
them. He was popular on Justice League Unlimited.
Swamp Thing? This is very funny in the like I guess when you're not 8 for the first time you read this shit and you're just like, I don't know, man. I feel like Earth being the ones that would save the day
Hmm.
must be really interesting living in that universe. Just saying. Like, just saying. I mean, there's got to be some better fucking plan. Okay, so now apparently the wave that we just saw on Earth 3, the Genesis, not the Genesis wave, what's the Nexus is eating up this other shit here. And they can see it now because they got kidnapped from Barry's wedding, which we didn't really comment on because it was silly and stupid, but it's
And
not
random.
and random, and it's not done being silly, stupid, and random yet. Anybody else? We got Zantana back there. Yeah.
See, it begs the question,
Blackhawk.
why is there just one Wonder Woman?
Yep. Batgirl. Why didn't Batgirl come over and talk to Batman? What's up with that?
You'll see.
Oh,
There's
oh no, I will. Great. Thank you.
Batman gets a whole segment
Damn it,
at a
dude.
certain point.
Oh wow, that swamp thing looks really bad in the background there. We got Red Tornado. We've got another bat. We've got Batwing back there. Why isn't Batwing saying hi to Batman?
Yeah, it's funny. They managed to get the whole, most of the Bat people and put them in
Oh.
this.
Somehow that is there. I like how they're not looking in the right direction for a bunch of stuff.
No, none of them are. They're all randomly looking in different directions.
Oh, I'm sure most of those. Oh, was Blue Devil always standing there? And old Shazam and Guy Gardner? I'm sure what most of those illustrations are the fucking character designs.
Yeah,
And they
that's
were
it.
just dropped into this.
Because every time they show Batgirl, it's the same,
hmm
the
Like,
same pose.
do you just like make a 3D movie where you drop 2D shit in and then it looks like what is um, what I'm actually saying is can we make a movie as good as this with an iPhone? Do we just not know
Probably.
that? Do we just not know that we can yet? Like, but not this, because this was the last movie that they cut into this. Because it makes no fucking sense. Because Johnny Quick has a whole fucking character arc here that we get built.
Uh-uh.
I also find it interesting that what was the first? What remember the Captain Cold? Not the Captain Cold. Yes, Captain Cold. Is that no? Mr. Freeze animated Batman that they did the direct to video
Yeah,
in like
Sub-Zero.
'98 Sub Zero, and it had a handful of CGI shots.
Oh yeah,
The
that
CGI
shit.
in that looks better than this. Why is that the situation in the year
Well, that's also
2024?
because it fit the design a little better. Like they could cheat because it was the design was so, that old
Yeah.
Batman cartoon design was all blocky and shit. So they could get away with that.
Okay, so now we have Amazo back. Now we have nothing about Barry getting Amazo, and we've only got 24 minutes left or something, less than that. And so, if you are familiar with the Crisis on Infinite Earths movie or no comic, Flash at various points is gonna like lose his. He's gonna get skinnier and skinnier, and the costume's gonna stay the same size, which we will see sort of homaged throughout here.
God, the designs are so
Waka
ugly.
waka. This is some good dialogue. Like I shouldn't make fun. I haven't seen Morbius.
Mm.
Look how static the Wonder Woman is. Like
Yeah, you could tell that's where they're just kind of cheapening it up.
sprites. They're called sprites, right? Animation sprites.
Mm.
Is that the thing? Okay. This fucking 93-minute movie was made with like, 6,000 of them total.
Well, they kind of did it like a filmation cartoon. That would be funny if somebody did a movie like that. Cheap as filmation used to do their shit.
Okay. We are finding out at 70 minutes in that Flash has been vibrating through these other universes. He's not freaking out about it or confused about it like he was in the first fucking 60 minutes of this movie. But now he's just like, what's up, dude? I can totally go between Earths and hook this shit up. Why haven't I been doing this for the last hour? That makes no sense. But right, so the plan is in the last 20 minutes of the movie. Okay, so they have Batman, but we saw the first part of this. They should get Lex Luthor because Batman's not as smart as Lex Luthor. Just saying. Okay. But this is basically where the fucking structure of the movie starts. And this is what they should have structured it around is the building of these fucking giant things. Which, like I said, is, you could just fucking do this with any of your fucking DC universes and just have it tie in someday to a crisis thing. Who's going to buy them? Like, they're not going to make it. Superman's not going to make $10 billion and save Warner Brothers. Like, no matter what, it's not. And Warner Brothers is fucked. So who is going to be in charge of this in
Well,
7 years?
it also doesn't help that now folks are actively turning against superhero movies. Like, so Superman
Okay,
don't really stand a chance.
I am going to say something hot take, but I saw this in a review of Venom 3 where they were like, it's superhero fatigue time again. Okay,
Mm.
it's not fatigue if it's just not a very good movie.
Yeah, if it's
How
not
about
good,
that? Okay?
because the Venom movies were never good. They
No,
just were.
they were fun in a certain way, right?
Yeah,
They amused in a certain way. They had a whatever. But it's just
but you can't.
like
Yeah, you can't take Venom and put it next to something like Blade 2 or some shit and be
you can't
like,
take Venom and put it next to like well, it's like well, I think this is well, it's like when people turned on Wonder Woman
yeah,
with the second one and they're like, maybe the first
second one.
one wasn't that good either. And it's like, no, it fucking wasn't. She was gonna kill the lady for being ugly. It's not like it's what if Superman the movie hero arc is you still kind of suck at the end? Like, okay, we were going to finish this pointless thing that we've been working on for 4 minutes. Okay, this is where I feel like this is supposed to be a different Batman because he's gonna say goodbye to Robin and Huntress or some shit. And it makes no sense because he just met them, doesn't know who they are.
Well, they do a sloppy job at all the alternates for some reason.
I thought Benedict Cumberbatch said we had one chance. So he doesn't touch his fucking forehead, doesn't do anything, just tells him something. And this is going to give Barry the idea of how to fix all this shit.
Mm.
Like, why wasn't this just the fucking movie? Right? Like, why wasn't it fucking weird? Like, Iris and Barry in the end of the world. We flash to future shit we don't understand. We flash to futures where she's not there. We flash to alternate shit. We flash to Terminator 2 futures and shit. Like, we just do all that. And instead, we're tossing all this in with 16 minutes to go and like no emotional heft. On the other hand, Grant Gustin and Candace Patton make this fucking movie. Um, J.C. Penney, once you own Warner Brothers Discovery, can you please make this movie for me? The fucking sad part is, you know who that fucker would sell it to? He'd sell it
Mm.
to fucking Elon Musk. He fucking would. That guy sucks. David Val, or what's his name? Zaslav. He
Mm.
sucks. Wait a second. What if they've been working on this whole time? They've been putting together the tower? Stopped in time? What a brilliant idea, Barry. Though it's kind of weird because he like told her that everything was going to be okay and they were going to have a long life together, but he knew that they were doing this shit.
Mhm.
Like that ain't great. Like that's like some Russian fucking tragedy shit right there.
Yeah, and I think this is it for the Flash for the most part, because after this movie, it kind of gets sidelined because then they got to do Supergirl's story, and
Mm,
I forget these. These are forgettable. This is in no way a definitive retelling of Crisis at all.
no.
What's
Again,
scary is that the Flashpoint movie was more accurate than this shit.
like the movie, like the real movie is you put together that they're stuck in time together. Also, we're now getting the previously we got the Flash running through those things. Now we're getting them at transition points, which makes no sense. Okay, so here's Batman who just met these fuckers 2 minutes ago, 14 minutes ago, saying goodbye. That's weird. Why would she have called him dad? She's like older than he is, right? Like, and I also like that the Tomorrowverse Batman apparently was not going to have a Robin initially. He was going to leave his ass in foster care.
Mm.
Oh, so he doesn't come back to run the Sonic screwdriver or the fucking cosmic treadmill for the anti monitor, then, huh?
Eh,
Yeah.
I, look,
Yeah.
this was the type of shit you watch it, and it's like the Men in Black neuralizer hits you, and you like don't remember shit, but
All
like
right.
because now they kind of mold together these movies.
Okay.
Like I'm kind of remembering the shit different. Like I forgot most of this movie was, you know, made up of Flash shit in the beginning for the first half.
It must be nice. Must have. I'm sorry I reminded you.
Because this,
We got to watch two incomplete Flash movies and then an incomplete first part of the Crisis. I do actually like the score.
mm,
I do like the. I mean, like it's much better than I was expecting. Oh, so they could have done. They could have done our Robin of Earth 2 costume there, and they didn't. They bitched out. Okay, I got you.
right.
You suck. Why you gotta hate?
But much like Arrowverse Crisis, this is a very, even though you see a bunch of heroes, it still feels small as shit
Yeah. I mean, and
because
this
they're only
is
covering so many of them.
that scene, everyone, where they're all in the meeting room is supposed to be like what? Like how many fuck has anybody ever counted? Somebody must have counted how many Perez drew. But the shots in the fucking these shots in the actual comic are phenomenal.
Yeah,
And but they are not
those
here.
huge crowd shots.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Arrowverse should have split it up like this because I always forget that Anti-Monitor is and the waves are like separate things. Because the Shadow Demons come next, right?
think so.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Yub yub.
We're still here.
Okay, wait. I also always look I do actually like how Wonder Woman and Superman of Earth 2 always look at each other like, dude, we get to fuck again sometime soon. This is really cool. We lived long enough that we get to fuck again. It's like really uncomfortable. Also, probably is that because Ollie's probably like 40 years older than her or some shit. Oh shit. That's right. Here we go.
I just don't know who the fuck wrote this and why they did it like this.
I think, I think they threw this shit. They threw together what they could. Because I mean, even the animation styles are slightly different. Like on the monitor,
Yeah, they totally.
and like the Spectre actually is a different animation style on the face. Like, ugh. This was actually super fucking sad because in like the good movie, this would have been super sad.
Hmm.
His fucking friend for the end. Because that's what it would have been. It would have been him and Amazo after Iris had died of old age, finishing the last like 90 minutes of it, and he's talking about the past of it. Okay. So
I don't recall the Spectre having a big part in the original Crisis either.
he did
But I
though.
guess he did,
Yeah, he
right?
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets big and he fights the anti-monitor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he
Yeah.
fights him at the beginning of time or whatever.
Yeah. Hence
I
me
keep
thinking
getting
they
it
were gonna
mixed
get
up with Infinite Crisis.
yeah,
But that's
see.
the one where he goes crazy, I think.
Um this is why I was expecting a Mel to show up in a fucking like hoodie and nothing under it but some green tidy whities and fucking ab city. But no. Okay, so then we get this, which is not the same visual like flash shit that we got at the beginning of the movie that we are watching, Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. I mean, that is, but that's the only like recurring visual. And then we're back to this fucking. Why is Barry's lab subterranean? That doesn't make any sense. Like, Barry doesn't need fucking water. This isn't the end of fucking Frankenstein meets the Wolfman or whatever. Like, he doesn't need the
The
fucking.
Warlord,
Okay, and why does the warlord have a young man on a
right on a
leash?
leash.
What
Oh,
kind
wait,
of.
no, that, this is, War World,
Oh,
and that's Bruce Wayne, a variant. Yeah, again,
oh.
that's how that's explained, I
Oh,
think.
so this doesn't just suck. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Remember how I said they had different scenarios that Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman were in on the War World?
Okay, now
Batman's
Flash
was, hmm,
that. I'm sorry. I was going to tell everybody that we are now finishing the scene from 45 minutes ago at the wedding. But continue. That was Batman's.
yeah, Batman's scenario was in the War World, or the world of the Warlord, while Superman's scenario was to be kind of like in a 50s alien invasion movie, and that's how Wonder Woman's was her being in the old West.
Oh, that sounds good. Um, so here's what has happened. The universe has been saved. Barry has told Harbinger they will go and save the universe with her. A scene we've already seen them be teleported to, if and only if she teleports everybody who's there at the team up back to celebrate Barry's wedding.
Uh, John Stewart and Hawkgirl,
Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl.
a nod to
Barry and
Justice League Unlimited.
oh really? Okay. And
Yeah.
Batman and Vixen. And then the people who didn't get invited to the fucking wedding. Like that chick gave fucking Flash a hug when he got there from Earth 2 and shit. Okay, so now this kind of sucked. This is why I was like, I should watch the thing. I like Dawn Star. It'd be interesting to see her not be written by a fucking white guy, maybe. Or at least a white guy in the 70s. The
Oh
whole
yeah.
shit. Dude, I don't think we've ever talked about it, but in hindsight, Wildfire's a really problematic character. Like, he's mean to Tyrock in ways that are inappropriate for the situation and make no sense in any context other than he wants to use a word like uppity. Like, I'm
Well, that's the
saying
thing
that
about Wildfire.
Wildfire is a fucking bigot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's a jackass. He was
Okay.
always kind of a, and his excuse is that, well, I don't have a body anyway.
Yeah, my life sucks. It's the 32nd century. We can't figure out how to put my consciousness in something. But we've just seen the
Although,
Legion disappear in the future.
yeah, the Legion's gone, which again, they played kind of a role in the actual crisis, and
So wait, so is this going to set up the next one to be Supergirl's movie?
right.
That was a terrible job doing that. If they wanted to do that, they should have done a much better job. Um, okay, so Aldous Hodge. Like, what is movie star Aldous Hodge doing?
Uh,
All those fucking DC credits, they're just so mad that they have to do. So mad. We had to cut
so
these
this
assholes a check for $2,500. They're bankrupting Warner Brothers.
this in no way wants you to encourages most people to see either of the next parts
No,
because
and that's what doesn't make any sense is because the whole point of having these in these contexts, both of
this
these
is
could have been accessible, like this in the
right. It shouldn't
Arrowverse
be this
one.
confusing.
The
There's a
Arrowverse
lot they
one,
don't explain.
you just have it be new Adams visit through the Arrowverse, and then we see it all happen, and it's fine and it's done. This one, I don't know yet because I haven't seen the second two, but you could have had it like, Amazo narrates it, and you only find out at the end that it's Amazo if you really wanted to do it like this. But I think you should have done much different things. This is not a lot of credits for how many people should have been working on this, is what I kind of feel.
It was the budgeted. This is very much quickie afternoon cartoon level animation.
It really is. It really feels very much like
They didn't try to spend nothing on it. Well, again, because this was done amid the
yeah,
change.
This
So,
was, I mean, these all came out in the last year, I think, right? Bobby
right.
Page. I think Bobby Page, isn't that a DC person? Editor, maybe?
Hmm.
All right. The Justice League will
Oh,
return.
wow.
Oh, wow. I'm sure he would be looking. Oh, interesting transition, too. And yes, because we're the fucking classy animation guys. Oh, cool. Um, yeah, I actually I was more okay with it before they do the tower thing with Barry and Iris because I was like, oh, that's a good idea. If you just done this without any good ideas, I would have been fine with it. But what you're saying is this could have been better. Oh, well, fuck you then. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
it falls on its face hard, and it doesn't really recover like it should.
So
But ultimately, it's because they, I think after a while, they just didn't give a shit. They just
yeah,
rushed it and got it out because they had to.
yeah. I mean, that's the end of the day is you have to. Like,
Yeah,
they weren't going to cancel them. I'm sure at some point they were begging them to cancel them, and they weren't going to cancel them because probably because they'd already paid for the voice acting for all three
yeah.
of them,
And they
and they
probably
just
got
were
paid for it and they already did it. So
yeah,
it's like
or
you
the
can't back
contracts
out of
were
that.
already in, and they were just stuck with it, and so
Yep.
they finished it. And it's like they're doing Watchmen too. I bet Watchmen. Did you watch the first one?
I
Did the first
saw it.
one come out?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
out. And honestly, it's not bad, but it's kind of pointless since it sort of follows the movie in
Oh,
a way.
joy.
And I mean, it's kind of a balance between what they do with the movie and the comic book. They just fill holes. You
Mhm.
know, it's most of what they do. If they didn't catch it in the live action movie, they have it in the animated one. Is basically what that's for.
Oh, and that was another thing. They did the animated Watchmen Tales from the Black Freighter. DC's been trying to get the live action actors to do animated shit for 15, 20 years. It's never worked. Like, just doesn't work. All right. Next time we will be watching Crisis on Infinite Ice Part 2.
Or yeah,
Yeah. And yeah.
yeah, it's the middle chapter of this crazy wazy crossover. Um,
Will it be more of a crossover? Will we see?
it's again another spotlight movie. I think it's
Okay.
split in the second one, or I might be confusing it because they do Supergirl's backstory, and then I think they also do Psycho Pirate,
Oh, good. I was hoping we'd
but
get Psycho
I'm not
Pirate.
for sure. But you know, yeah, it's just it's a mess, but we'll get through it. We're gonna
We are
slog through
committed. Yeah, we are committed. And we are. I'm excited that we have committed to Fantastic Four because I can work on the art for that. So
Oh yeah.
everyone's been enjoying seeing the art in the coming soon that we have not seen yet because we are in the past and that is the
Mm.
future. Okay. Uh, yeah, so we'll be back next week with part two. And, I don't know. We'll see. Is this going to be more or less popular than the Arrowverse ones? Only the Spectre knows.
Yeah, so I hope you kids are watching along out there instead of just letting it play. And we like that too, but you are supposed to watch along with these.
Give it a shot.
Alrighty. Until then, we're gonna keep the shields up and hopefully that antimatter wave won't hit us too hard. Till next week. Goodbye, folks.